hard to trade that account. It was hard because that account did nothing for pretty much nothing. It went up to about €18,000, and then it went straight back down to 9,000. So it actually took a good run up, then it hit a drawdown. So what we found was that we gave ourselves a 12-month period. We had a max drawdown kind of circuit breaker, and what we realised was that statistically this market tends to be very sporadic in when it has its volatility runs. So what we had to do was make sure that we were there trading the whole time, but also needed to make sure that we psychologically could handle a bit of a drawdown. And it was tough. Like there was some days where there was one period there where we had 13 losing trades in a row. Now that wasn't good, obviously, but that happens, and it helps when you've got someone who's there helping you trade through that period, because on your own it's tough to trade through a losing run. I mean, you've been in my room before, Lyle. We've had 6, 7 losing days in a row, and we've bounced back and had a good winning run on crude. If you remember back in February, we had six losing nights in a row and a break even, but we bounced back, and did well. Admittedly, we're only trading one trade a day, but it's still psychologically definitely doesn't. It makes you feel fairly ordinary. So the toughest thing when you're trading is making sure that you are ready psychologically to trade, and what helps you is having multiple systems, uncorrelated markets. Like if you get a loser on the DAX, so going through this losing run, we were trading the Russell at the same time. It was having winners, we were having losers. Didn't feel so bad. Like a lot of the stress was taken off by having other markets we were trading. We were also doing spreads. Um, the good thing about option spreads is that you get paid straight away on credit. So even though we were losing, we were going through a losing run on the DAX, we were selling spreads every month and making money there. So even it's just a psychological advantage. Absolutely. I mean, we, as part of our kind of training, our mentoring program, or our pro trader program, we do spend a lot of time on trade psychology. We spend probably half of the course is done on trade psychology, and half of the course is on money management. So they're the two biggest things that are part of the program that we run, like as part of the stuff we do, and that the trade psychology is probably the most important thing to invest in, like as far as your time. So like getting your mind right, and there's obviously one of the things we do, and I think I sent it out. I'll send out the trader self-assessment, but making sure that you do some visualization. If you haven't done that before, that's a great way of building your confidence up. So it sounds like a little bit out there, but visualizing yourself as a confident, trader who's able to cope with any type of market conditions, and if you're doing that every day and you're reinforcing that psychologically, and that becomes part of the thing that you do before you prepare for your trading, because that's part of our process. We visualize and prepare for the market, not really kind of investing any time or emotion in it, but we just try to get to a point where we're feeling comfortable, relaxed before we trade, because the last thing we want to do is go into the market feeling anxious or upset, or worried about what's going to happen, or committed emotionally to our trades. So we've got to kind of detach ourselves a little bit, and that's probably the toughest thing to do, but it's one of the keys to sustaining a drawdown, and rising like the phoenix and coming out of it, because you can see there that if you've got the tools if you've got the right tools, you can basically, as long as your system has a positive expectancy and you're able to let those trades run when the market's running, and you can get the bigger winners to losers situational ratio happening, so a better reward to risk, and you work on your psychology, then you can really do exceptional things. And that's why a lot of people are attracted to the forex market, because you can be in that market with very, very limited risk, and even if you do sustain a drawdown period, it doesn't have as big an impact, because psychologically it's a smaller pot that you're trading. But either way, like, you just need to develop those skills up, and it is hard. It takes a lot of practice. But to me, the way I think about it is that every day that you trade in the market, you should be thinking about it as you've got to follow a process, same as you would with a job, like standard operating procedures. And what you're doing is you're just building your skill set up every day, and it's just repetition, 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 and you do the same thing well every day. That just builds confidence. So it's all about just making sure that your flawless execution, that you just and you've got that, you build that confidence up that way. So really for you, it's all about setting that up as a money management plan, and working out exactly how that's impacting on your account, like seeing how those different elements are helping kind of reduce your max drawdown, because that's great. Like you said, if you're doing options, you're doing some spreads, um, and you've got other strategies working, then really you're starting to diversify in the market, and that's fantastic. So traders, that's it for me tonight. I'm happy to answer more questions if you've got them. It's always good to have a session like this where we can spend some time kind of doing some more solid training, rather than trying to call trades and just be in the market. So it's good to sit back a little bit, but a good time to also look at what you're doing, maybe take stock of if you're doing a really good job with your money management, fantastic. If there's some ideas you can take from today, that's great too. Like, the goal is to try to get you as good as you can be as far as your trading. And like I said, don't be too hung up about your indicators and the system. We're definitely working at improving everything we do. So, part of that, part of the multi-system strategy that we're going to be doing is obviously the optimizing money management and position sizing. So that'll become a very critical thing that we do.